And Iraq so far away. We'll bomb them anyway. What's going on, y'all?
God damn it.
It's the it's the reviewing podcast. Look, I actually came up with that joke. In, like, I'm pretty sure 4th or 5th grade, because I was a fucking little shit. And I was so giving you the social commentary about how it doesn't make sense that we're going after Iraq when Osama bin Laden is in Afghanistan.
Right.
But yeah, just the perfect time to bring it up to for this episode. What's going on, y'all? It's the Review a New Podcast. I'm DJ.
And I'm Will the Greatest.
And this is the podcast where we typically take a second look at our or your favorite pieces of media, be they movies, music, or now television with the Boondocks podcast. Now going on exclusively on the Rap Critic Patreon, at least until, we get a couple episodes out, maybe after the end of the season or something like that. We'll start slow releasing them out, Let the good people know what they've been missing, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I just pushed your boy to get this exclusive extended Rap Critic universe content. So yeah, if you want to enjoy that and you happen to see hear this episode when it goes out, patreon.com/rapcritic. That's where they got to hear it first. And kofi.com/rapcritic if you want to make requests for music or live streams or movies for me to review on this here show that I got. And Will, if they love your commentary, tell them where they can find you at on this on the digital high seas.
Absolutely. You can find me on my own YouTube channel at Will the Greatest. You can also find me on Instagram and Threads at Will the Greatest. And I also have my own podcast with Aaron of The Real Rejects called the ACE Podcast. That's ACE podcast. Everywhere podcasts are available. We just put one out.
Yeah, I just
a week before Sinners came out. And
yeah,
I'm mad that he can't watch it, so I need to find other black people to talk with it, because I think they're gonna do a reaction to it at some point. So he can't see it yet, and I'm like, son of a bitch. But we did talk about other stuff. We talked about Invincible and Spider-Man. So
yeah, I saw that because I wanted to hear that conversation. But yeah, let's get into this episode.
Yes.
Motherfucking A Date with the Health Inspector. And it's so interesting because there's two direct things going on in this episode. There's the Iraq war was fucked up and fucking gay rape in jail. These two contrasts are happening.
Yeah, it's just like the overarching theme here is the abuse of the American citizen for their body by various by the man.
Exactly. Well, abuse of foreign people and citizens. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. It's how you're either a victim of the military-industrial complex or you're a victim of the prison-industrial complex. There's no win here.
and all that implies,
Yeah, and all that implies. You're either getting fucked by the man or fucked by a man, non-consensually.
Because of the man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because of the man, exactly.
And now, what was it? Okay, so yeah, because it starts with the recurring nightmare about him being sexually molested in prison. And this is one of those things, right? Because, it's
like a hard opening.
This is deplorable, content that they're talking about. It's edgy for that sake. But I cannot act like I don't laugh every time I hear the fucking background people talking with the when the soap drops, you just hear the slowed down what you gonna do? Yeah, better pray, brother, pray. Like, I feel so bad, but every time I'm like, God damn it gets me.
Because, like, and Terry Crews is playing the inmate
Terry Crews, who in this show, like, he's like sprinkled throughout this show. He's never like an actual character. He's just someone who has like one or two lines because he's in the nigga moment right at the beginning, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's in this episode, I think, twice, because I think he also plays the guy in the court scene. Like, later on, they just got him to do random shit. I think it at least sounded like him. I might be confusing with another.
No, that sounds like him just doing a higher voice to sound like a different person. Yeah,
but like, because I'm watching it on Max and it's uncensored, I keep forgetting. I think after I see it, it just vanishes from my mind that there is this like like concerningly almost bad dragon-esque like literally cartoonishly big penis.
Yes, the way it just sways down to his fucking feet.
In the fog, and I'm like, somebody in Korea had to animate this shit. Like, can you imagine getting the email in like 2005? We're like, look, we need you to animate the biggest, baldest, blackest dude with the biggest, baldest, blackest dick hanging suggestively like a tail of a lion in a shower, and they're just like, yeah, we can do that. how soon do you need that dick, sir? Like, I think it leaves my mind just as fast as it enters my eyeballs. I'm like, God damn, you're never really ready for a dick.
Yeah.
Like look, as many gay friends as I have and the times we've talked about gay sex, you're never like fully like, oh yeah, there's that dick. It's a dick. Like, oh, okay.
But like, that's the thing. It's like, as like, you know, what is it? As problematic as it is, like, it's the dialogue and the way it's delivered still makes me laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like when he's like, soap drop, nigga, and just the way he's so nervous with the fucking like, I'm finished. And he's like, nah, nigga, you ain't finished. You ain't got behind your ears or nothing.
Okay, like, that part was funny.
And then just the fact that it leads into the fact that the only reason why it's called the health inspector, the episode, is because he just says, like, you know, we don't waste no soap around here, nigga. Look at me. And the camera, like, pans out to the body to slowly go down. Oh,
shiny and clean.
Shiny and shit. That's hygiene, nigga.
It's like, it's
now
just
pick up the soap.
I feel so weird about, I think just nowadays, with like all the commentary, especially like with recently with you know, Diddy being arrested and like all the jokes about Diddy. It's like, it feels weird looking fucking 20 years back, and it's like, oh haha, like it's like, hey, you know, that was just a common joke that everybody made. It still kind of makes it just like, hey, don't drop the soap.
That was
it's like, or else
movie about prison. You're going to get that joke,
And it feels weird looking back because we're like, now in this society, it's like, hey, you know what? Sexual assault against men is wrong. But still 20 years later, it's like, but people be like, but don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap, or else. I think Whitney Cummings said, she's like, hey, don't drop the soap or else you'll get anally raped. And that's the punchline.
Yeah. And you know, I guess part of it is that you know, you did a crime and you did a bad thing, so now you deserve punishment. Like, you know, there's part of that too. But you know, it's the sort of you're a guy, and now, here's the ultimate thing that's gonna happen to you. It's the what was that? The date rape song by 311. I think they also did that as well. Sublime. Which one of them got revenge? Now, the point of it.
One of them motherfuckers.
Somebody
that's probably not touring right now.
Especially in a '90s edgy way, is to be like, oh, you're getting your revenge. Now, the point of it in this episode for Tom Dubois is that it's the thing that scares him straight. Like when he's 10, he sees the documentary that shows him that like prison rape happens. Shit, oh god. Now remembering Chris Rock with his whole bit, right? The jelly, oh sir, I prefer sir. You know, when a man suck it, like, why would you have them eat ass? Well, when a man suck at your dick, he can pretend it's something else. When a man's eating ass, he knows his ass. Like, you know, part of it is just for the shock of the like, oh my god, that's not what
it's just
that's
like
not the norm.
Yeah, it's just, and even leading, and the fact that the implication is this is such a frequent occurrence that Sarah rolls over is just like, it's like, honey, you're not, what'd she say? Like, honey, you're not in jail. It's go back to sleep. Like,
it's like, oh, did you have
so this has been just a thing.
Yeah. It's well, and then they use that as the flashback to say that, like, even when he was a kid, you know, like all throughout his life, the reason why he's so straight-laced is because he doesn't want to have to deal with, you know, prison and what comes with it, right? And
I think was actually a little, like, in retrospect, I think that was a little funnier than the opening, just because he's saying it with such clarity. It's like smoke weed if you want. I'm not going to prison to get anally raped by a big black guy. It's like, that's an oddly specific crime.
What?
And everyone's just like, what? Cheat on your test if you want. I'm not going to prison to get anally raped. Like, he said the same shit every time. I'm like, well, it's consistent at least.
And just the fact that he's like, I'm not gonna go to prison and get annually raped just so you can listen to Usher. Like when his wife is downloading the music, which no one as I don't know about you, but no one has ever fucking gone to jail for like fucking like who?
No,
Like I don't think
you
anyone
wouldn't.
that has ever happened to
You
anyone.
wouldn't download a car. You wouldn't
Oh my fucking
download
god,
a
that
PS5.
shit.
Bitch, yes I would.
Yes, the fuck I would. What are you talking about?
How did
And
you
now
think
we're
I
literally in
start?
the age of like 3D printing and downloading shit.
Right. It's just like you wouldn't download your grandma's purse. It's like if I could, I'd think about it. I don't know if I would, but I mean shit. If the option's there. Yeah, just him going through life just like just one fear and one fear. Not dealing with the man. Butt sex,
Yeah.
like
And
forced
there's a lot
anal
of,
rape.
of course, there's been the conversation about like, the thing that guys fear when it comes to homophobia is that they're going to be treated the way that,
Yeah,
they
the way that
treat
men
women,
treat
essentially,
women,
right? Like,
and it's like,
but,
oh,
Tom isn't that type of guy, but
no,
there is still that sort of like
it's
emasculation, yeah. And,
yeah,
just
it's
being
like
made to do something
the
you don't want to do
feminization of the
when you're
light
black.
skinned black male.
Yeah.
Good. Oh God,
But,
wait, oh Jesus, that might be a theme. Jesus Christ,
What?
the like the cultural association of lighter skinned men being like softer and more effeminate, which is ironically a little bit of Tom's nature, does kind of fall into that fear a little, like in a weird, and this is definitely me just putting on my aluminum
But
foil,
like because
but
he's a soft boy, he's even more susceptible, right? Like,
yeah, like well, him being light skinned implies softness as a black man, because like to be the dominant masculine perception of in like as far as people viewing blackness is usually darker skin. So that's why like darker women are seen as more masculine, and then like lighter men are seen as more feminine. That is not what I was going for. That just popped into my head as we were talking shit about it.
Yeah, but with Tom, the point is that he likes order, and it's that thing of like, be in order and do things the right way, or else you get punished and you'll deserve it essentially. And coincidentally, that's what ends up, like they say, he ends up becoming a lawyer, which essentially involves him putting black men through the fate that he's kind of afraid of himself. So it's like there's this weird, he's right on the edge of the thing, you know what I mean, and involved in it.
You almost get it,
Tom.
Tom.
It's kind of freaky.
Yeah, it's like you're afraid of it, but also chose to be an enforcer. I guess it's like if I enforce it, I can avoid it. Which
right. I'm
the
a
point.
good guy, and yeah.
Yeah, it's like wait, no, I'm a prosecutor. Is he a prosecutor or defense? I think he's a prosecutor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm a prosecutor. They can't put me in jail. It's like you're black before you're a prosecutor, my boy.
Right. Now, okay, just a little really quick, just going back to the scene right before he wakes up. I just like there's two moments in this episode where someone cracks a little smile right before a cutaway happens. And like for the health inspector guy, he goes like, he goes, "Now pick up the soap." And then you just see like Tom bend down, and then you just see like, his face, like the bottom half of his face slightly zoom in, and you just see a slight smile right before the cut. And I feel like the Boondocks does that a lot, because then they also did that with the Stink Meter episode. Right before he Stink Meter steps on his shoe, you see just the slight smile and then the step.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. And later on in the episode, the cop goes like, he says like, "Oh, we know what you was doing. You was playing Xbox with your friend, and he was serving up some piping hot ass whooping, wasn't he?" And like when he looks at us, there's just a slight smile right there. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a weird motif in this show.
That's something that's always like when I thought logically about it, about the whole like drop the soap joke, is that everyone's immediate thing is like, oh well, you bend over and then the butt sex. I'm like, can you not squat?
Suddenly that, and also
work.
like
that's the shit that's always got me. I'm like, so nobody wants to just like drop it low real quick. You got to bend over and make yourself available. Like it's like nah, dog. I'm gonna drop it low.
But also, like,
pick it up slow.
I mean, just getting into the specifics of this is kind of gross. But like, if you're in a shower populated with other people, would someone just rape you in the middle of like you know what I mean? Like, they're just gonna be like,
if it's like
if it's like that's just going on over there. No one's gonna do anything about that. Like, that feels like
it's like,
if you were alone maybe and you got caught, there, but.
It's like, oh yeah, that's Ron. He rapes, so we don't take showers much around Ron unless we have to. He's
Yeah,
Ron the shower rapist. It's like
yeah,
y'all ain't gonna stop him. It's like, what are we supposed to do? Get raped?
right.
Like,
Ain't no
it's like,
fucking
I want
unity for
to. You
shit.
are you gonna stop him? Like it's kind
No
of like
fucking
fighting a guy with
brotherhood
his dick out.
behind Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like,
But
are
I
you
mean,
gonna fight him?
at least
No, I'm
two
not gonna
people
fight him.
working
You fight
together.
him.
Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like no sense of community in the prison
You
system.
know.
It's like
Now,
y'all just gonna
like,
stand there and watch. It's like what I'm supposed to do.
yeah, right, right. But now there is an awkward, and I didn't know where to jam this. Maybe we'll cut it out, but because I
Yeah.
just don't know how this fits in at all. But just talking about how, like, because there's the phenomenon of men being gay in jail, and then when they get out, they're
Mhm.
not. And I feel like part of that is conditional. Like, there's going to be people who, after a
Yeah.
while, are like, "Hey, look, I just want something," and then when I get out, it's not really. It's a different condition that I'm in, so I'm just not in the same mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I've
Mm.
heard when I've looked up, about like sexual. Because I had a book I had in college about sexual, just sexual behavior and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
they
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about that, like, conditional behaviors. It's like it does happen, but it's usually because, like, guys going gay in prison and then, like, not
Well,
being
what
outside. Yeah.
wasn't that low key the plot of what was that movie with like Seth Rogen and Ewan McGregor? Or no, is Ewan McGregor and Jim Carrey? It was like
Oh,
I
you
love
mean
you. What's
broke
its
down?
face? No, no, not
Broke.
Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
I love you, Philip Morris. Where it was
Oh.
Ewan McGregor
I,
and Jim Carrey. I think were like a couple in jail, and then one of them got out, but the other one was still in love with him.
oh, I
So
thought they
it's
were
like
both in love. Was it only one of them?
oh, were they both? I haven't seen that movie in so long. That shit came out in 2009.
Yeah.
So I
I do
could be
remember it being
totally
one of the last good
misremembering
Jim
it.
Carrey movies where it's like he's doing everything he can to get out to his man.
Yeah, but oh
Um,
yeah, he
but
escaped prison.
yeah, yeah, and then there are some people, of course, that don't want it and are being abused. But and I forgot what the fuck my point was ultimately
Oh,
going to.
you talk about like conditional sexual behaviors in prison, where it's just like
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
definitely like people that develop those intimate relationships behind bars because it's like, hey, look, it's like all I got is me, and whoever looks out for me, and so it's just like, and I mean, you're still gonna have desires, like it is a
yeah.
sometimes you kind of hit a point where it's just like, I mean, ass is ass, it
I
is
just
it
need
is.
something. I just need
It's
a
like, hey
warm
man,
entry.
just yeah, it's like, look, dog, I just like a kneecap, something like
I need this. Well, that said,
it's
like, look, I like people are different from person to person. That said, I've
sure.
always thought, like, I don't know, man. When I was like, I just feel like for me and a lot of boys out there, they were forced to be virgins for a very long time and
Yep.
did not, you know.
Yeah,
And maybe it's a
virgin
specifically
by
different
force.
situation when you're in jail. Maybe that's specifically different, but I just feel like for a lot of
it's,
guys, you know what I mean? They were getting
it's
laid.
one of
And
them
it's not
cases
like
where
they
it's
were going
like,
like, oh, I can't get laid. I guess I gotta have gay sex. There ain't no other. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like you think it's just like, man, you can only beat your meat for so long. It's like,
true, true.
can you? There's an element of willpower to the times that there's like consensual
Yeah.
jail sex. I
Although
imagine
now,
where it's
wait,
like,
well, see now this is what gets to me to another point here. Yeah, and maybe this is like the point that I mean. I feel like we are in a society that does not allow people to be sexually adventurous in any capacity. So I feel like that how like the sexual spectrum is 0 to 6, and
yeah,
most people are somewhere in the middle probably, but there's a lot of people that are just the 0 where they're just straight and they're not attracted to the same sex at
yep.
all, and some people who are 6 who are like couldn't in any way find what I mean, the opposite sex attractive. And I think
Shout outs to ace people that didn't qualify.
right. I
Shout out
mean,
to
look,
asexuals. This ain't got shit
we
to
learn
do
about
with
the
y'all,
different
so keep it stepping.
dimensions.
Yeah, shout out to arrow ace people. We not talking about you.
Well, I feel like just now we're learning about sexual fluidity. Like 20 years
Yeah,
ago, a guy being bisexual the joke was that no, he's actually gay and he's just
yeah, he's
figuring
just
out that
gay
he's
with
gay.
extra steps.
Yeah,
Which it's
yeah,
like,
I remember that being the joke, and it's like, well, wait
yeah.
a minute, couldn't someone just be like, how can we just not perceive the idea that someone could just find both sexes attractive? Like, it's just
Well,
so
and part
outside
of it is
people's.
yeah,
Oh, go on.
like part of it is because men aren't typically fetishized in the same way that women are, and in like
Right.
objective sense. So it's like a guy doing gay shit isn't seen as hot as a woman doing gay shit. So it's like if like I was actually texting somebody about this today. There was a post I saw, and it's like, who needs a boyfriend when you have like platonic soulmates with your homegirls, and it's just like them playfully kissing and taking photos, and I'm just like, see, even today, if I posted that with several of my homeboys, like no one would have a problem with it, but their first thought would be, it's like, oh, okay, he's coming out finally, good for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
like if I said it's like, hey, who needs girlfriends
yeah.
when you got your homies, and it's like, and just me like kissing like you
Either
or
he's an
Aaron on the
incel,
head,
or
they'd be
he
like,
fucking just came out as gay. Like, yeah.
yeah, like there would be zero judgment. I believe I'd be fully accepted, but the first thought is just like that it would
Right.
be some sort of indicator of sexuality.
Well,
from
because
that.
men are so conditioned to not be considered as
Yeah,
sexual, and being sexual is considered the other. But I feel like
Yeah.
the point that I was specifically getting to is that I feel like in society there are a lot of people who aren't zero. There may be one on that spectrum, maybe one or two. But because
Yeah.
we're living in a society that says, no, if you're a man, gotta be zero, gotta be zero. No, you can't enjoy that at all. You can't even entertain the idea that when they're in a specific environment where they have no choice but to think about, oh, what about that time where I kind of felt like I was one or two on that spectrum? You know what I'm saying?
You gotta start
That's what
asking
I feel
questions.
Is the phenomenon, huh?
Yeah, cause you're in a position where it's like there are 2 female security guards and a prison full of niggas.
Right.
What is like, it's either those 2 security guards or those 2 security guards and maybe one of the niggas in here.
Either
maybe
you hope to pull off an orange is the new black scenario where you got to bang the security guard, or
yeah, and though there's some slim chances she about to put her job at risk and everything, or you just get lucky and find a femboy in there somewhere.
Right. But I mean,
it's like,
but that is it for people though, right? Where it's just like, hey, you know, I know that you might not be that like whatever sex you like presenting as, but like you look enough like this to me, and that's good enough.
It's like,
for me.
hey,
like,
right? Yeah, it's just
Look, I don't judge more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
look,
just think we
there
should
are
be in a
some
society where people can be able to think about the options. That's the problem. We're just like as women are kind of told to explore the option all the time. Like, well, guys find it hot, and like and our guys, you know, that sort of thing. But with guys, it's like they're not told to at all. So just the idea of thinking of it at all, I think is just for a lot of men in jail just becomes that sort of like, oh, this is the only place where I can explore this idea. Like I feel like for a lot of gay men, when I went to college, I remember, you know, the stereotype was that gay men are more being more promiscuous, like, you know, as young men in college. But the reality of the fact is they're probably just coming from a hometown where they weren't allowed to be themselves. So now they're just also kind of being allowed to do shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like I think to your point, one of the
I went to an art school college, by the way, so there's probably a higher ratio of gay people.
Fair. But to your point, I think it's like intimacy is seen as feminine, and feminine is seen as kind of like the weaker or inferior when compared to masculinity. Right. So anything that kind of postures as that, so it's like even the notion of like a lot of times when people think of gay sex, they think of the bottom. So it's like, you know, that's why we still have the joke. It's just like, oh, so you doing the bending? Like, it's still funny, but because it's such an unexpected thing to hear Janet Jackson say. But it has some truth to it.
I remember there was that awkward thing where people were like, "Oh no, if you're the one fucking him, that's not gay. I'm not gay. If I'm the one fucking him." I remember that being so confusing. It's like, dude, it's okay. You're just gay. It's fine.
No, man, no. It's like it's not gay if you're getting your dick sucked. And if you're
like,
the top,
I remember that
it's not gay if you're the top.
Yeah, and it's
does that apply to women?
That just goes to show how much it's embedded of like, no, but it's not actually gay though. It's not actually gay though. It's like, dude, it's fine. You know?
Yeah, penetration is the key to sexuality. So I guess every top lesbian, not the masked ones, every lesbian that's a top that like uses the strap. That's where it'd be like, oh, that's the man, you know, that's the masculine one, because like penetration is power.
I mean, you know, I feel like top and bottom is honestly like the most, you know, abstractified but like representational of what all of these sexual relations we have really are,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a general idea that sure, masculine is the thing that's penetrating and feminine is the thing that's
Mm-hmm.
the penetratee, but like
Yeah.
that ain't necessarily so for everybody, and just
That's
because
very
it's
true.
that way for a lot of people doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the way for everybody. You know what I mean? It's just in society we do that thing of going like, well, because that's basically the way it is for the, you know, what the normal people, that must be what everyone has to do. You know how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to get back to this fucking episode.
Yes, yes. We
Oh yeah.
got
So
on a
what does
whole
he say?
open-minded tangent. It's just like, you know what?
Right.
Gender isn't real. Live your truth. All sexualities are valid.
That's
Like,
right. That's right.
do what you want as long as they're legal and consenting, and don't be weird like Shannon
Yeah.
Sharp. That's all I gotta say.
No, oh Jesus Christ. Look, in the immortal words of the great Shakis Gius, do what you like. Humpty Humpus and Shakis
Yes.
G.
Exactly.
Do what you like. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, with everyone's consent, of course. I think they brought that up on the song, too. I can't remember.
Yeah,
oh, wait,
like
no. Actually, they did the opposite of that. They literally said to the girls, if you see a guy you like, just grab him in the biscuits.
They did say that. Yeah,
But you know
look,
they were doing that. See again, that's
Yeah.
late '80s, early '90s irony. The idea is that men
Yeah.
are such the machos. Oh, the joke is that a girl's gonna grab you in the butt if she likes you.
it's not harassment if
cheeky.
if it's a woman.
Oh,
You don't even have to be attracted to it. It's not it's not
Oh,
sexual
no.
harassment if it's a woman. It's like
Oh,
no,
they
no,
weren't
it
thinking
still is.
about
No,
it.
no,
They
it's
were
not.
so
It's not.
innocent.
It's okay. Well, what if I'm not attracted to her? No, you're gonna fuck her, all right?
Yeah,
Because-
exactly. You just see 40 days and 40 nights. You're supposed to have sex with
Right.
someone.
Oh God, please somebody request that movie so we can.
Oh Jesus!
please make me suffer again.
The fucking breast mountainscape. Remember that shit? Oh my god.
God, what a. Oof. Anyways,
Insane
so
movie.
Tom
Anyway.
got arrested for
Yeah, he
being
gets
confused
arrested.
with a serial
But
killer.
what's funny to me is when they have the Terry Crews bit, his other bit where he's playing the guy being prosecuted.
Right.
Because like, you know, the judge is like, for 4 bootlegs of Soul Plane, you know, you'll now have to do 32 months of bread. And I just love how you hear the guy. He sounds so desperate. He's like, please, don't send me to prison. Don't send me to prison. And as he's being pulled away, he's like,
Right.
I don't want to be anally raped. Please, I'm sorry.
That's a very good impression because that's
so
exactly what he
so-
said. Because it's just like, yeah, like get that, and that's some shit the justice system would do. I also wanted to get your thoughts on their allegory for Bush.
Oh my god. So yeah, we're actually just about to get to it. So
Yeah.
we get into the you know, they bring up the part about Tom Dubois getting arrested and it's on TV. So I think Riley's watching it, and you know, no, Huey's watching it. I think at that moment because he said you hear them say the suspect is a black male, approximately blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
I was always thinking like, you know, two minds about this joke. Like, is it Huey going in his mind just filtering it out? Oh, it's a black man. Yeah, they just prosecute all of us, or is it the, you know, the language of the show as this white man saying approximately, you know, he's a black male, so you know we're just gonna prosecute everyone who's black in the area anyway.
Yep.
You know, like is it
blah
that
blah
sort of deal,
blah.
you know?
You don't need the details. You know what happens next. He goes to jail.
Yeah,
being
exactly. I was
raped.
always trying to figure out like how was that supposed to be directly interpreted as the joke, you know? And then I remember the threat level shit. I was like, as this episode was happening, I was like, I remember that was a specific time in the mid 2000s. That wasn't the early 90s. That wasn't the 2010s. That was right smack dab in the middle of that time where they were just fear mongering and taking advantage of people being freaked the fuck out and going like, oh, the threat level's at level orange and it's gonna go to level red, and it never seems to go below the you know, the level where it feels safe. You're always right on the edge of being freaked out. Yeah, I wonder when they retired that. I wonder.
I don't know.
What
but
was that? Who was?
We did definitely like stop seeing the threat level colors. Yeah, why don't we see that anymore? I guess it just stopped serving a purpose. It's like, well, we're out of probably stopped around the Obama administration. It's like, we don't need it anymore. We're about to pull them out.
Well, this is interesting. I just looked it up, and I guess AI is giving me the answer, so take this with it.
Grain of salt.
I'm seeing that the Homeland Security Advisory System, which used color-coded threat levels, was discontinued on April 27, 2011. It was replaced by the National Terrorism Advisory System. So,
oh boy,
I guess we still have it.
we just got a new name instead of colors. They're like, well, they won't understand what the color mean. We'll just have to tell them directly. It's like, all right, I guess that's one way to do it.
But yeah, it's like, what does that mean? What is it actually telling us? Guys, be slightly afraid. Now be slightly less afraid.
Yeah.
Now be even more afraid.
Don't get too comfortable. Shit ain't sweet. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I see it now. It's red is severe, orange is high, yellow is elevated, blue is guarded, and green is low. Yeah, that shit never went to blue. It was always yellow. You know why?
It was
Because we live in fucking America. That shit ain't never gonna hit blue.
exactly. But
we're never hitting
the
blue.
The funny thing about it is, it's like we, like, sure, there have been some, attacks after 9/11. Sure,
Yeah,
nothing
for sure.
has ever been on that level. And on top of
No.
that, the awful things that we did in, countries like Afghanistan and Iraq. It was like, as soon as you read about it, it's like, whoa, this was nowhere near on that level, and we were absolutely overreacting in order to be like, God damn it, you will do not catch us off guard. We will fucking make you pay 10 times over for embarrassing us. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, it's
like
just...
that's what always fucked with me. It's like, look, this has always been my thing. It's like, look, yeah, Osama bin Laden is a fucking asshole and definitely needed to get, taken out of here. But they needed to find him and not just bomb every goddamn, place all around the fucking country, because that's what they ended up essentially doing.
Yeah, but I mean, they had oil, so
Yeah, yes, exactly. And so the fucking episode is such a direct allegory in a way that I like. I always remember the jokes at first with when they're on the way to the gas station and that happens. I remember them making the jokes of the there's a moment where he says like, did you find like we was in Iraq looking for weapons of mass destruction, and Riley, there's just the awkward pause, and Riley's just like, what did you find? And Jim was like, no, we didn't fucking find him. What are you, a satirist? You Jerry Tudo out this bitch? Or what did he say? You Gary Tudo out this bitch? It was like, no, we didn't fucking find him. And then he brings up this point, which I kind of hate because it's kind of a good point, but it was made by an awful person who clearly was using it to just be manipulative and do whatever he wanted, Dick Cheney. Where he said like, there are known knowns and then there are known unknowns, but there are also unknown unknowns. We don't know that we don't know. And the thing about that is like, that is true. There are things that we don't know, but they just exploited that rhetoric in order to just keep doing what they wanted to do anyway. Oh, we didn't find weapons of mass destruction? Well, we could find them eventually anyway, so let's just keep going.
Right.
Like, isn't it so insane? Like, when you look back, it's like, oh, wait, what happened was they didn't use a bunch of, irradiated, material to blow up a bunch of... No, they had to hijack a plane. Like, they were so low tech. They had a fucking nail file and shit. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about like, oh yeah, right, they didn't have that many capabilities. They just took advantage of the slightly lax security at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and what's wild like about that quote in particular, which it is one of my favorite quotes of the show. I actually have used that relatively recently in like work with clients. Like that exact phrase is just like, look, it's like you can't fear like unknown unknowns because there's plenty of things that you don't know that you aren't afraid of. So it's like it can be it's crazy that logic can be used to induce fear just as much as it can kind of be used to prevent it. Where it's like, well, there are things that you don't know that could be a problem, and so that's why we have to bomb them to the second pit of hell.
That's why you have to worry. Like, or you can.
That's why you need to be anxious. But it's like,
so how about we just worry about what we can worry about and cross the bridge when we get there?
Yeah, and it's just like, which is actually not a bad philosophy when you use it with the right context, but it being used as basically a defense of our version of terrorism to other countries.
Yeah, you're just doing what you wanted to do. Like, there was a podcast I listened to called Blowback where they talked about essentially what was going on in Iraq and how they would just, like, they would quote unquote solve one problem, but then it would lead to something else being fucked up. And so it's like, well, we can't leave now and leave the country to the people here because now we technically caused this problem. So now we have to stay and solve this. And then that would inevitably solve another problem. So now we have to solve that. You know what I'm saying?
We caused this problem. Guess we should stick around to make sure that nothing else goes wrong, right? So we're just gonna put up shop here in like the middle of your capital and go call it an embassy or something.
And we just
we'll be
happen to
all right.
be extracting all the oil that happens to be in this area. Pure coincidence, I'm sure. Just to make up for, the money that we're spending on the military operation, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But essentially, Tom Dubois gets blamed for the murder. They mentioned, it comes up on the news right as he's changing the channel to the threat level thing, and that's when Jasmine comes in and she's yelling about like, terrorists have my daddy and they're gonna cut off his head in Algeria.
Oh, okay. And hearing that, I'm just it's been like it's been so long since I remembered. I'm like, that's right. This was off the era of like pirates were a big thing too.
That was like Somalia, like 2010, maybe.
Oh yeah, you're right. Somali pirates was 2010s, but this is just like, just like African warlords was also a passive terrorist threat.
Mongering of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we got to worry about the. Oh my god.
Yeah, Coney 2012 was a couple of
that was a little bit after this time, but like you said, it's like, they're gonna cut off his head in Algeria. I'm just like, that's right. We were scared of Africa back then. They were all broke or terrorists. That was.
Right.
And then they always needed rice and Cheerios.
Exactly, but the money never went to them. It ironically only went to the warlords that were causing the artificial famine, but that's another time for another day. That's another story for another day.
That's weird. Why would it go to... Well, that's not right. Those are the bad guys.
This is what
Who would do that?
This is what happens when you don't do your research on what you're donating to, folks.
Hey, man, they can't do that. Those are the bad guys. They've never donated. Nobody's ever donated to the villain before. That Elon Musk guy seems pretty trustworthy.
That would be so sad if, whoever the fuck was involved with sending the money over to, the Feed the World thing, and then they're like, yeah, we're giving it to the people in charge of the country. And they're like, yeah. Hey, so are you going to give the food to the people that need it? And he goes like, yeah, it will go to the people that need it. I mean, like the people in the starving grid. And you see like I think we best get going.
Well, it's like, that's all for me. You should get out of here before it gets dark. Don't want you to get lost.
Isn't yours? It's for the people.
Hey, give that back. We'll have to call somebody. Don't make me call America. Hey, you can't do that. That's unethical.
What are you going to do about it?
Don't make me call the president. Oh, yeah, for sure. Have him point us out on a map.
Yeah, right.
Point to Algeria right now.
George Bush, point to it right now.
I think it's over here. No, it's got to be over here.
But
one of these brown ones.
Sound like some French.
Algeria. I think I went to school with in Algeria. She was really nice.
But yeah, so they kind of do a joke on the security theater. Tom tries to call, but then Riley picks up and is a total fucking dick about it. Where he goes like, I'm in jail, and he goes, don't drop the soap, and then just fucking hangs up. It's like, god damn, Riley. And then
diabolical
this is what really fucks me up. He calls back and he says like, Riley, this is serious. And then Riley says, I thought you only get one phone call in prison. It's like, bitch, so you hung up on him knowing in your mind,
right,
having the thought that they only get one call. Like,
which also, even for a 9-year-old, the fuck did this man do to you to be like, he'll get raped. You be all right. It's like, don't, it's like, stay, night, keep your butthole tight, and then just hang up the phone, basically. It's just like, and then he calls back, it's like, ain't you supposed to be getting raped right now? It's like, that's what that response was indicating. It's like, you still here? Riley. I thought you was in jail, dodging soap and shit. Like, that's low-key evil as hell.
Yeah, but Tom Dubois, when he finally gets Yuri on the phone, he has a moment where he kind of sounds like Bill Cosby, where he goes, thank you, Yuri.
I'm not gonna lie, the cry, I can see like oh my god, what is his actor's name? Jesus, old boy from the police from Reno 911, his voice actor. I can see him.
Cedric Yarborough, yeah,
Cedric Yarborough. I can see him in the booth now doing the fucking cry.
Yeah.
You think I don't go to jail.
But then, because basically they only have like 4.5 hours before he gets bussed off to real butt pounding prison because they don't keep people in holding over the weekend. And I just at the end of the episode, you hear him say, "Real butt pounding
Butt
prison."
pounding?
Like just the way he says it is so.
Right. I was making dinner earlier. I'm just like, real butt pounding prison. I'm sorry, the alliteration got me.
Yeah, but so Huey and Riley need to figure out a way to find the real killer. So they go to the only people they can. Ed Rummy, I mean Ed Wunsler.
Ed Wunsler.
Yeah, and his friend Jin Rummy, two white guys who are Wiggers, voiced by black guys, and this was always the crowning moment of this episode for me. Just the fact of like, you had Charlie Murphy in the first episode voicing a black guy, and then now you have fucking Samuel Jackson, the blackest voice motherfucker you could ever have, and they're
as a white guy with cornrows.
Right, and it's such a classic flip that I appreciate the Boondocks for, right? The fact that we know historically in animation history, black characters have been voiced by white guys all the fucking time.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
have this ironic flip of these two really white guys, but the point is that they're pretending to be black, but actually voiced by the blackest voices you could fucking find, Charlie goddamn Murphy and fucking Samuel L. Jackson. Like Charlie Murphy, he's always funny to me. He always sounds like he just fresh came off the block. And it's like, why does he sound like that? Isn't your brother in show business? Shouldn't you like not sound like this anymore? But this nigga sound like he just got done rolling dice. Like, you know what I mean?
Like he definitely sounds like somebody that just got a photo and was like going about his business like, fuck you up, nigga. I'm trying to deal with this. Trying to get into some shit.
The bitches had that confidence over their face, so I couldn't say their faces, you know what I'm saying? And, I didn't know what was going on, so, I might see their eyes, and their eyes is pretty, but then I take off the fucking carpet they got on, and I got tragedy.
It's kind of like how, and this would be a whole separate conversation for people who want us to review that, but every couple of years, when Ryan Coogler puts out a movie, people forget that, like, what his accent sounds like because he doesn't code switch. So he be in the middle of meetings, he be talking with real ass accent, right? And he just be talking real about himself and the film that he be making.
Oh, is he from California?
About the creative process. Yeah, I think he's he's from Compton. But it's like people
Californians, they over enunciate.
I love kind of like, yes, this is a great piece of like meta commentary and casting because it's just like, first of all, it's Sam Jackson and Charlie Murphy. You don't even have to write any jokes. Just let them do whatever the fuck they want in the booth, and your plot will move itself. And it'll automatically be hilarious. But we don't often get, I think, opportunities for, I think, Ebonics to be portrayed in a way that is like normal.
Right.
If that makes sense.
That doesn't feel like a caricature. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like a caricature, but that just feels like a way that people speak because there's so many sub categories of accent. So it's like the Baltimore accent.
Just going from the Compton niggas to the New York niggas to the Southern niggas.
Yeah, Compton to New York to
niggas. Like, that's
Baltimore.
4 different accents. Yeah.
Yeah, like New Orleans niggas, like every type, like subcategory of Ebonics has its own kind of accent, and it's rare to see it treated as just like a normal thing. Now, the additional context of that being their like speaking voices on white guys makes it even funnier because like I think Charlie Murphy has a real specific type of like
because they're regular speaking nigga with diction. Such authenticity as they're talking.
Yeah, because like Sam is just loud, but I think Charlie does have like a little twang to how he speaks, where it's like the words are like crisp but slurred, if that makes sense. Because like, it sounds like he talked with front of his chief, like but it's still like hard consonants. So I think it's an impressive thing that I don't think you could easily just like teach. Like there's definitely accent and dialect coaches that can teach it, because like Delroy Lindo can play the fuck out of a black man, but like any black man up and down the aisle. So there's definitely someone out there that knows how to teach this shit. But in 2005, they weren't teaching this shit. So they just got two niggas in the booth and said, we need you to play some Wiggers that are Iraqi vets that are also fucking nuts. And it's like,
and what I love is, after all that fucking, after all that fucking vitriol he spits, he's like, You know, it's like, are you sure we can trust you to do it? It's like, he's like, oh, I'll fucking leave his whole block without fire, and I'll do it in a jiffy. Just the fact that he says, and I'll do it in a jiffy. He's like, and I don't care if it's teachers, babies, little children, you know, fucking tax collectors, bystanders, whatever. I'll leave his whole block without fire. You wanna know why? Because I just don't give a fuck. And then the eggs explode. And then I just love his delivery of this next line, where he just sounds so like, you know, sounds so sheepish, where he's like, y'all sure y'all ain't hungry? I got English muffins and peach jelly.
It beat a little shit.
Yeah.
It beat a little shit that they just kind of throw in there. But yeah.
So we get to Tom, you know, basically being, getting the good cop, bad cop routine of the white cop being a jerk and the black cop kind of being the guy to like ease him back. But there's one point where he just smacks the shit out of him. I was like, whoa, these advanced interrogation techniques going on over here. Like, again, abroad and to our own citizens.
But it also, go ahead.
Well, this is interesting because like the black cop messes with them mentally. Clearly the black cop from Menace to Society. You know you fucked up, right?
Yes.
So, and
yes.
He does this thing where he says like, you know, now if you just admit you killed him, and he goes like, whoa, like I'm not gonna do that. And Tom's
but I didn't kill anybody.
yeah. And Tom's like, you know, but the guy goes like, well, if you just admit you killed him, we'll promise you get a slap on the wrist. Trust. And Tom goes like, wait, I'm a lawyer. Like, that's not going to work on me. Then, like, the time not even goes like 10 minutes later. And he's like, so you say if I confess,
dog, and that might have been the like one of the toughest parts of the episode, because that happened so much that the fact that the joke is just like, yeah, this just really happens. It's like what else can we say? And it be not all skin folk is kinfolk. Like sometimes it be your own people that are part of the system, maintaining the system of just like, hey man, look, just say you did it, and we'll put it on the record, and then you just get to walk free. And it's like, no strings attached. Or it's just like, yeah, just admit. Yeah, just agree to a murder that you didn't commit. And everybody gets to go home. And you get to see your kids.
Yeah, and we get to go home.
Yeah, it's like, you want these cheeseburgers? How about these cheeseburgers? So how'd you kill them? Like hey, yo, what the fuck?
Now, I'll say this much. It kind of doesn't end up mattering as far as the episode, how it plays out. Because they don't end up catching the killer. But he gets let out because the killer commits another crime and they just happen to catch him. So, like, but the whole point was that he confessed, right? Like, isn't that what happened? Because they do the thing of like, oh, if I confess, you'll let me go. And he says, slap on the wrist. Like, yeah, I guarantee it. And you just see him like smiling, snotting up like he's like going to agree to it. So by the time we get to the end of the episode, like, it seemed like they were going to do some sort of cutting back of like the As a matter of fact, yeah, it's not revealed yet that the killer was caught when
when he gets let
out. Yeah, so like
because he doesn't say shit. He's just like Tom Dubois, come with me. No context of what the fuck is going on. He just takes him outside. Yeah, and that's when he's like, am I going to real butt pounding jail?
But yeah, like, it was for the sake of, like, the reveal, but it felt a little unfair story-wise, because it's like, well, it seemed like the point was that he confessed, and he's screwed, but then they reveal at that moment in the voiceover that, like, you know, Tom Dubois was saved by the fact that the killer committed another crime, and it's like, if we had actually gotten there in time, we could have saved him, so technically, we didn't do anything, but it's what they do end up doing that is the crux of the episode. That's fucking hilarious. Again, the allegory for the war on terror. So yeah, they're like, you know, of course they have the whole thing about the weapons of mass destruction. But then I love it when they're looking for him, when they're on the search. They like literally like they don't have any, as they mentioned, diplomacy at all. He's just like, he's talking about diplomacy. I don't do diplomacy, and they just kick open the door like, Kia, bitch. And then the way, just the background, again, the ad-libs as the montage is happening, with like Charlie Weber going like, you better stop talking, he just slaps the shit out. Like, just going up to strangers and saying, you better start talking or I'm a... And then there's one point where he just straight up robbed someone. He's like, yeah, that's right, bitch, run your chain. And then just kicks the guy in the ass before shooting him in the ass. It's like, what are you guys even doing? But again,
They're just
the war on terror allegory, it's like they're not actually doing anything. They're just fucking doing whatever the fuck they want. You know,
they're
being
causing
terrorists themselves, terrorizing the locals.
I was gonna say, it's like they're the terror. They're the terror that needs to be prevented. Where it's like, you came over here, guns blazing, literally, and we're about to get into like the whole gas station section too.
About what happened to you, and you had to get your revenge.
Yeah, it's like I had to get my lick back for everything, and it's just like the reality of it is sad, but the way it's purveyed in the show is funny as shit.
Now they get to the point where, and oh my god, it's so fucking annoying, and especially the way they lay this moment out, because it's like, hey, and Charlie Murphy's like, hey, I'm thirsty, ain't you thirsty? And Samuel, his character's named Gin Rummy, by the way, the fucking blackest name you can name, the fucking black card game, Gin Rummy.
Never questioned it 1 second. It's like, Gin Rummy. That's a white guy, I would know.
Right? And he goes, I could go for a tasty beverage. That's the way he fucking speaks like that. And he's like, hey, whoa, we're right down the street from the killer. It's like, hey, man, let's just pick up this drink real quick. It's going to be fine. It's going to be cool. Don't even worry about it. And now, I found this out because I was, looking at the description of the episode, and I was like, wait, what? And the Arab clerk is apparently voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson? Did you know
I'm
that?
seeing that, too. I did not know that until I looked up.
That's so fucking insane. That does not sound like him.
No, that's probably the most distinct. That's probably the most distinct voice I've heard him do. Because I can usually pick his voice out of a crowd. Yeah. I don't think I picked it up here, which is impressive.
I absolutely did not. So I was like, huh? I can usually always pick out that guy's voice.
Yeah, like Kevin's one you can pick, but I mean he's been in the industry for a minute.
He's got the hugging black guy voice,
Yeah. Sometimes it's like he's that. Basically, any character he played on the Cleveland show, you've heard most of his range.
Right. But so to hear him doing the they come up and they're so blatant about it too. They literally they come up with the couple of cases of beer, like 3 or 4 cases of beer, and then they hand it to Riley, the fucking children, and go like, put that in the trunk real quick. And then, the Arab clerk, I just love the way they set it up. He says, hey, Ed and Gin Rummy, my friends and close allies. How are you doing? The way they specifically said, my friends and close allies. How are you doing? And, he says, put the stuff in the trunk. He goes like, hey, slow your roll, chief. You got to pay first. And the guy goes, Charlie Murphy, in the most racist fucking turn, he goes like, hey, chill out, Aladdin Hussein. we good for it.
Oh, that's evil.
Chill out,
oh
Aladdin
my god, that's
Hussein.
evil. That's so offensive.
And they're being so shitty to him, all up in his face. And he's like, hey, come on, guys. Come on, pay for it now.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm running a business. Just pay for the drink, you can go. And they're just getting way out of pocket, which makes it worse because it's just like, nigga, this is your friend. The fuck?
Right.
But
that's what I mean.
But that's how the military was.
Wasn't that what happened? Because weren't we actually working with the Mujahideen or whatever the fuck fighters in the 80s, and then all of a sudden we weren't by the 90s?
That's where they got their trucks and guns from.
Yeah.
That's why the joke is
we
always
got the receipt.
It's like, why the fuck is Al Qaeda driving Ford? I wonder the fuck why. Where did they get all these American weapons from? Fuck you mean where they got it from? You used it so they could stage a coup.
There was a joke that I remember Paul Mooney said, where he said it was on Chappelle's show where they're like, how does George Bush know that they have weapons of mass destruction? And he said, George Bush has the receipt. And I always remember being like, whoa, what the fuck? As a kid, I didn't get that. But as an adult, I'm like, whoa. That just fucking pulled apart all of this shit.
There is a line that he has, I think, from one of his later specials that you made me think of when we were talking about the differences between the treatment of black people and Arab people, and just so worried about the land niggas they forgot about the sand niggas.
Oh no!
Which I'm like, is he wrong for saying that?
Damn.
Yes, and I apologize if for any offense I may have caused, but it's not inaccurate to how we treated people.
Yeah, the fact that it was they treat everybody like shit, but then they feel like, oh shit, Arab people actually have some fucking firepower and can't actually fuck our shit up if we're not on our guard. Oh shit, that's embarrassing. The brown people were able to get one up on us. Oh no. You
Yeah,
know?
it's like you were so preoccupied with your anti-blackness, you forgot to be anti-Arab. Like,
Yeah. But I also remember Jamie Foxx. He had a special around the time because I remember that where he's like, yeah, and you know, of course, it's kind of xenophobic now
for
in
sure.
retrospect. But I remember it was just like the joke of being like, oh, you know, black people are always the put upon ones, and then it's like, yeah, after 9/11, Jamie Foxx had this joke where he's like, yeah, after 9/11, Arabs is the new niggas. It's like
I do
we get
remember
on a
that.
plane, we always like, hey, Ahmed, I'm watching you. It's like, god
That
damn.
but that was the post 9/11 kind of like
Yes.
traumatized phenomena where it was like weirdly
We're
kind
all
of
willing
or
to work together
yeah,
to go against those filthy Arabs. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
yeah, it was very much being a black person was like, well, that suddenly we were all Americans all of a sudden after like this awful
yeah. As
tragedy.
long as you're
It's like, yeah,
not
we
light brown and have a beard, yeah,
right, as long as you're like light, not light brown and don't have a beard, it's like, you know what, black guy, you're not too bad. You don't crash into the towers intentionally and cause like, hundreds of thousands of lives to be ruined as a consequence. It's like it was like retroactive anti blackness, which is a
yeah.
weird thing because it wasn't pro blackness. It
It's
was
like, is
just
this
like
how
not
Irish people felt? Like,
right. Right. It was just not anti-black. It's like, you know what? Black people are Americans too. And you can stand with us white people to not like Arab people. It's like,
right?
and we're just like, yeah, sure, I guess. As long
Yeah,
as
it's like, you know
uh,
what?
as
You
long as
can't
this
beat
doesn't
them.
hurt us.
Join them.
Right. It's like,
Yeah,
I guess we'll take it for now and
but
see where this takes us.
yeah. But so what does he say? Oh yeah. So it comes to the point where he says he's not letting him go. It's like, hey guys, you have to pay. And then Charlie Murphy's character goes, whoa, put the gun down. And he
And
pulls his
all
gun out
hell
on
breaks
him.
loose.
And he says, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not holding a weapon. And he goes like, no, oh, that's why it happens because the police officer is over there and he's like reading his
Yep.
comic or something like that, and he looks up and he goes like, oh, whoa, Aladdin Hussein, put the gun down. And so they're literally saying, you put the gun down as they're pointing a weapon at him. And I'm like, if this isn't the fucking perfect allegory for
Yes.
the fucking war in Iraq, I'm aiming this big ass weapon at you, put your guns down.
in
you know?
in your store after stealing from you. It's like I'm in your
Right.
store stealing from you, pointing a weapon in your face and saying like, whoa, man, stop, relax, stop being so
Yeah.
aggressive. Stop, it's like
I
put
was
down your weapon. It's like what weapon? See, put down your weapon. Hey, officer, this
yeah.
motherfucker over
And
here is about to start shit.
I always remember that MF Doom line, and maybe I should have used it for the outro, but where he says like he talks about like it alludes to like the Iraq War and stuff like that, and that's what it is. D.L. Hughley, honestly, I feel like he had the better politics of the time, where he was like. I'm not saying like terrorist school or anything like that, but like when you think about like what they're dealing with as we are fucking their country up, because I remember he had that joke where he was like, it's like these motherfuckers will fight a tank with a rock. And I'm like, damn. If I had a fight, if look, no matter what religion I am, if this motherfucker got a tank and all I got is a rock, I believe what he believes. Like his God is apparently fucking helping him out more than mine. Like, damn, he get a tank, all I got is a rock, and shit, it's some fucking dirt rock too.
I do remember.
Yeah. But
Which
what was
it's
it?
just it's some like the whole sequence. I do think is funny, but when you hold it under like a critical examination of its satirization of basically the relationship between the U.S. and the Middle East is just
Yeah,
like so goddamn tragic because it's just like what it's
yeah.
speaking about.
Yeah. Oh, that was the line that I was gonna reference. MF Doom. He says he's talking about the Iraq War, and he says like, well, he's talking about like war in the Middle East in general, and how we're clearly like the superpower that's overpowered. He says, and, oh man, I forgot this part. Damn. Whoa, it really goes into his. Check this bit out. So
Mm.
MF Doomie says, they pray 4 times a day, they pray 5. Who ways is strange when it's time to survive? Some will go of their own free will to die. Others taken with you when they blow sky high. What's the
Mm.
difference? All you get is lost children while bosses sit behind their desks. It costs billions to blast humans in half into captured arms, but only one side is allowed to have the bombs. That's like making a soldier drop his weapon, shooting him, then telling him to get to stepping. Obviously, they came to portion up his fortune. Sound to me like that old robbery extortion.
God damn.
Fucking
Metal
MF
face?
Doom on that shit.
Jesus. Yeah.
Speaking too much truth. Yeah, he's not just a fucking cartoon and supervillains guy.
Right. Shit.
Fuck
All right. Had
But yeah,
some things to
I should
say.
have made that the fucking ending chord. In fact, I think I still might. Fuck it.
You still, hey, look, this is your show. You can do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's me, my show, my ideas. I'm in control. Me,
Exactly.
my. Oh man.
Oh.
But yeah. What was it? Oh yeah. So what
We're
happens
talking about
afterwards?
the showdown in the gas station where it's like the
Yeah.
after
So
the
yeah,
cop
he says
comes
like,
in.
I am not holding a weapon, and then literally what happens is like the police officer's like, I don't see a weapon, I just don't see it, and then like the Charlie Murphy like pulls out another gun and goes like, fuck it, and aims it at the
Right.
policeman and goes like, are you with us or this motherfucker who's obviously of terrorist descent? Of fucking terrorist descent.
Of terrorist descent is some evil shit that
That
I
is
know
wild.
has been said before and after this episode aired.
Right. And then, because, those terrorists, the people who do terror, they look like, what we think terrorists look like. Yeah, no.
You
And in
you
the
know
70s, they looked like
those
Irishmen, and now
people.
they look like brown,
Yeah, the
but what was it?
unsavories.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. And then the police officer goes, wait, I think I see the gun now. Like, that was
No.
fucked up.
Well, like his hands were in the air too.
Right? He says, I can't give you a gun I'm not holding. But then he says, you're thinking of the Korean shop north of here.
It's like, God
I
damn,
love that
that's which
The fucking social commentary.
is people throwing people under the bus in the face of fear. Which, oh man, I want to reference something, but I don't want to spoil a movie. So,
But so then the shooting starts happening. Corey's like, time's up, and then like shooting happens. Fucking Jin Rummy and Ed Winsler can't shoot for shit, so they're completely missing. Then this is the funny bit. 2 Arab dudes bust out the bathroom with weapons firing.
yeah, right. Which I'm like, so were they right? Like,
Like, yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's not that they weren't right, but they didn't actually know that. Like, that's the thing, right?
That's what it was.
It's not like, we're going off of a hunch. We heard there was some uranium. We saw a couple of bullet shells, and they were doing it purely because they just wanted to get away with some shit. You know what I mean?
Yep, they started some shit and just happened to be correct.
Look, they started some shit, and now there's going to be some shit. As a great philosopher, Lilith Jonas said,
Sir Little of John.
if you don't want none.
Exactly.
So, and then he's, Jim Rome's like, damn, I didn't know they shoot back at us. He says, and Huey's like, of course they are. You're robbing this store. And he was like, hey, you're not supposed to criticize the robbery during the robbery. You're supposed to wait till after the robbery. That's robbery etiquette. And then, oh God, what happens is the white police officer gets shot to shit.
Oh yeah, he was getting lit the fuck up.
Yeah, like you see the blood splashing everywhere. He's like, oh God. And then you hear Jim Remy goes like, officer, what's your name? He goes like, Frank, Fred, whatever your name is. And he goes like, I just want you to know.
You will not
you're
die in
gonna
vain.
In vain. And he goes like, I think I'm actually going to be all right. He's like, well, just know that you won't be mortally wounded in vain. He's like, actually, I think I'm going to be okay. And then just fucking Charlie Murphy goes like, you hear that, you sweaty bastards. He said, like, Freddie said, he ain't dead. Freddie said, bring it on, bitch. And then they shoot the police officer again. Now, in a sequence that looks so cheap because they're clearly just doing the exact same animation. But I still just enjoy the fact that it happens twice. Of like shit.
Did you peep? Because I had to replay it, and I know we're still in the first season because I know that, and this happened in the Santa episode too, where Jin Rummy like turned around, charged up, and then started like sliding
Yeah,
across while
okay, I
shooting
did
the
see.
gun. he, he fucking Kaioken just started letting shit rip, and it was so goddamn because just
Turned us up like fucking Goku.
he just turned around, bullets flying past him, charged up, but his legs didn't move, but the rest of him did.
I thought it was like, is it just a lighting thing? I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I'm like, why did he charge up? Why did he go Kaioken times 4 and then
Charged up like fucking Sonic with the fucking Chaos Emerald.
Like he lit up and then slid across the screen, and then it shows his feet running. I'm like, his feet were not moving in that moment, my friend. I don't know what that. It looked good. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Oh my god, ridiculous. And then and then the Arab guy at the front ends up having a gun too.
Yeah,
he goes like, ha ha ha.
Which definitely still fucking reinforces. It's just like, yeah, they knew each other. They were friends and comrades. But he didn't start shit until there was shit to start.
Right.
But that's like, again, the allegory still remains of just like, oh yeah, we'll work with terrorists, knowingly or unknowingly. Not like we haven't done that before. That's nothing new.
Right. Then he goes, when they're getting, once the whole scene is over and people are getting like, arrested and put into traction, like the fucking police officer. Of course, only the Arabs are being arrested, and the two white guys walk out, and they just look around at everyone, just kind of going like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he just goes, "What the fuck y'all staring at?" And everyone just goes, "Yeah, USA, USA, we did it, yeah."
Start cheering and shit. Like they're actual goddamn heroes. It's like, heroes, yeah. Meanwhile, fucking Frank is getting rolled out on the stretcher, clinging to life.
Like, dude, you can't tell me that's not America. Like, we didn't know what the fuck was going on over there. We were just shut up and cheer when the soldiers come back. You know?
Yeah, they coming off the plane. We're cheering. Yeah, just shooting up the equivalent of gas stations and community centers. Ruining everyone else's lives, taking them away and like putting them in gulags and shit. Off of the suspicions, like, well, they're brown, so they must be terrorists.
America's freedoms.
Yeah, like they're actually gonna successfully pull some shit again after the last time.
Right, but so the episode ends. They find the killer, which they could have done if they would have just gotten there.
Just went like they were going to.
Which, again, that's kind of like the allegory. It's like, it's not like there wasn't, someone to find who was, on some bullshit. It's just that they deviated for their own selfish purposes. You know what I'm saying? And the episode ends with the newspaper that shows that Tom is, gonna sue for a wrongful arrest, and then you see the actual killer. He's like this clearly super dark skinned guy.
Like dark skin with facial hair and like a bald head. So like, and I'm just looks nothing like Tom at all.
So, calling back to the early, the black man, approximately blah blah.
Because they don't give a shit. What was it Dave Chappelle said way back when? It's like what he looked like. He's like, well, he was black between the heights of 5'3" and 6'4".
Yeah.
Big dick, big lips.
Out of his pants. Let's get him.
Yeah. We'll take it from here. We know the rest. Like, bitch. Oh my god.
Right. Oh man. Well, that's the fucking episode. This has been the Review a New Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I think we covered everything. We did a robust breakdown, you know what I'm saying? We got into the little commentary, breaking down. See, this is what we do, you know what I'm saying? We dig in to the nooks and crannies of the details, you know what I'm saying? We give you the fucking breakdown as well as the fucking conversation, how it jumps off, only on the Review Podcast, good people. You get such good ass conversation, folks. So, is there anything else you got to say before we get up out of here?
Go see Sinners. Yeah, that's it.
I had to go check it out. And go see Freaky Tales, too, if that's still in theaters.
Ooh, I do need to see that.
that was pretty fun. It's kind of an anthology thing, but I like it for the most part, and I appreciate what it's doing as like a sort of like I think it's a basically it's like a mythologizing the Bay Area in a really fun way.
Okay,
So yeah,
okay.
definitely check it out. That about it. So let's get on up out of y'all. Uh, and like I said, this has been the Review New Podcast. Again, thank you so much for listening. Patreon.com/rapcritic if you want to support the show. Ko-fi.com/rapcritic if you want to make requests. And until next time, I'm DJ.
And I'm Will the Greatest.
And
obviously, they came to portion up his fortune. Sounds to me like that old robbery extortion. Same game. You can't reform them.
That Mary was going around with an old flame.